I've never heard anybody talking about it, but it's still good. I mean, it's still really good, and it's just that nobody's reading that stuff anymore because there's so many current books you have to read, so we forget to read the old books.
That's true, too.
So, for example, a study of Plato from the 19th century may still be absolutely brilliant. Plato's text hasn't changed. A really insightful scholar from, say, 1810 who writes about Plato may still have insights that the newer scholars have missed because they haven't read it.
Okay, I'm going to feel justified in quoting a lot of this old stuff to you then still. Thank you.
Sure.
I just wanted to clarify the fact that Dan Peterson is not a total schmuck.
Not a total schmuck.
Not a total schmuck. But if you guys will learn to understand irony, you have to read some literature. That's what I've been telling you in my Backyard Professor videos now for months. You have to start reading a little bit. If you'll understand the principle of irony. You go to the Shakespeare Festival.
I do, yeah, religiously.
Shakespeare. Read Shakespeare. You'll get the idea of irony. That's what Dr. Peterson uses instead of my approach where I just flat out use straight bluntness. He's much more classy than I am.
Well, there's no substitute for reading. I mean, I try to tell people that, and it's not all on the internet. Some things, there's something called a book, and it's still valuable.
Now, see, that's irony. Thank you.
Sure.
I appreciate that. Stan Barker with Dan Peterson. Come over here. You're out of the light, man. This is a must-see. Bill's going to be green with envy. Oh, hold it. Let's get all three.
Bill's in Oxford. Bill will not be green with envy.
No, he's in Oxford, man. Yeah, anyway. you may have Oxford, but I've got these guys. It's been a while since you've been here, huh?
Yeah, since we were down in Provo.
Awesome.
That was, in fact, that was the. Is that turned off?
No.
I don't want this recorded.
Stan's going to give us some secret.
California, he served his mission in Colombia from 1991 to 1993.
That's Lou Midgley.
Earned his BA in anthropology at UCLA, where he graduated with both departmental and Latin honors, cum laude. He earned his MA at UC Riverside in 2004, also in anthropology.
Hey, I'm with Mike Ash. He's another really good LDS apologist and scholar. And I'm going to do a video interview with him because he's written a new book, Shaken Bake Syndrome. Shaken Faith Syndrome. And it's a good one. I've got it. I'll be making some videos also. I've known Mike for, how long have we known each other? A decade anyway.
At least a decade, yeah.
At least a decade since we founded FAIR. And he has become one who is worthy of listening to. So I'm going to have him talk about his book. But the one... You have given a couple presentations at FAIR on the Joseph Smith Papyrus, and that's always a perennial favorite for both critics and we apologists. But it seems like the lay members of the church just don't get enough information one way or the other. When they hear the anti-Mormon argument, it appears so strong. I mean, we both know half of the critics out there on the internet claim that they've jumped out of the church because of the papyri issue. So what's your take on the cognitive dissonance about the Joseph Smith Papyrus?
Well, it can be definitely a stumbling point for somebody that doesn't understand all the complexities involved in it. I mean, first of all, we have to understand that we don't have everything that Joseph Smith had. That's probably the single most important thing. There's estimations.
Now, why do you say that?
Well,
how do we know that?
Most of it's based primarily on the calculations of John Gee. Using standard estimation formulas designed by the Egyptologists based on roll size and also based by eyewitness reports that talk about there being more scrolls and things that we don't have.
Church history.
In church history, correct. Exactly. So we know that there is material there that we don't have. We know that some things were lost, some things were burned. And, we can't say something wasn't there when we don't have the pieces to examine all of it. What makes it interesting is that some of the things Joseph Smith did get right. I mean, he talks about some of the stuff, the sons of Horus, equating it to the four directions. And there's things that go beyond, in my opinion, coincidence. But like I said, the most important thing is, since we don't have everything that's there, and Joseph Smith didn't understand Egyptian himself, he was using Urim and Thummim revelation to understand the book of Abraham. He had to assimilate what he was revealed to him as well as what was in front of him. And I kind of doubt the Lord said, okay, here's the book of Abraham, and this is the sections that it belongs to on the papyrus. So he receives the revelation, knows that it somehow ties to these papyrus here, but I seriously doubt that he could have pointed to the areas that the text would include. I don't think he could have done it with the Book of Mormon either. You know, if you're looking from King Benjamin's speech, which plate was it on? I don't know. He's looking at the Urim and Thummim. He doesn't have the plates in front of him. He doesn't know which page it's on. So I think the same thing applies
So
to the fire.
you accept Wilford Woodruff's description of Joseph Smith having the Urim and Thummim with the Book of Abraham?
I would think that, well, you Searstone, anyhow, that's right.
Or Searstone,
Exactly.
sure.
It makes sense. And even if it, even if he didn't use a certain Urim and Thummim, I seriously doubt that he approached it the way an Egyptologist or translator would. That just wasn't how he understood translating Scripture. It didn't fit his worldview of. The one scripture he had already translated is the Book of Mormon. That's not how it works. So to shift directions and translating another ancient text in a completely different way, that just doesn't jive. Okay, so
I'm with you.
So if he didn't know where it was at, but he knew it was related to this papyrus, it's like I said, the issue seems to go away just from that one aspect alone, is that there could have been an attachment to the document, another document somehow that tied to it. Now, what of course makes it the critics' arguments is that, well, we know we have facsimiles attached to what is the beginning because it was read backwards in the scroll there, and Abraham references to
that illustration.
Illustration, exactly. But as John Gee again has pointed out, being that he is an Egyptologist, that many times you have facsimiles that don't tie to texts on documents, and sometimes they're elsewhere in the document. And he gave several examples of that in some of his presentations in the past. And so it's not as cut and dry issue as the critics like it.
So our cognitive dissonance, as they like to accuse us of, would be more in line with what the fable is, the way the critics present it, as this is all we have. But we know they were just 11 small fragments. John Geeds told me also that some of them fit in the palm of your hand.
Right.
I mean, that's not a lot of handwriting.
No.
Especially considering when Oliver Cowdery read with some of the brethren, Wilford Woodruff and Joseph Smith, that one night for 2.5 hours out of the Book of Abraham.
Exactly. We know that there had to be a lot more.
Do you think we'll ever recover it?
No.
Darn.
No.
I'm afraid you're right, but
Yeah,
I was hoping someone would be positive.
I mean, we could ask, do we ever think we'll recover the original autographs from the New Testament?
Oh, well, there you go.
I mean, it's always possible, but extremely unlikely, since, the earliest ones date from, what is it, about maybe 2nd, 3rd century AD, and that's a little postage-size stamp. So, that didn't mean that the earlier documents didn't exist. It just means that they're gone, and
We aren't going to get them.
we're not going to get them back.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Appreciate
Welcome.
it.
Thank
That's
you.
been Mike Ash. He's one of the members of. Scoot over, man. I'm running over, but he's one of the members of FAIR and has written this new book, Shaken Faith Syndrome. I'll get it right. It's a tongue twister for me. But I will be doing many videos on this as I review it, and I have access to him on the email, so don't be afraid to ask questions. If I don't know the answers, he will about his own book. So
Buy my own
look
book.
forward to some videos. And buy his book at least, absolutely. He's a good author. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. My pleasure. Fun to interview him in real life. Talk to shut up your show. This is world famous Matthew Brown and his band. This is Larry Morris. He's a fabulous farm scholar. Where is he? He's over there somewhere. And this is who are you, dude?
I'm
Can you prove?
Stud Muffin.
Stud Muffin. Yeah,
Says right
that's it.
there.
Yeah. Tomorrow. What was he saying about? What was he talking about?
That's what you do, right?
Oh, me?
Come on, confess for Matt Brown.
Are you kidding?
Do you, I can't even. I was trying to
don't
keep
bluff
up.
As soon as
me.
I'm done with this, I have to do.
He was talking about your. That stinks.
Really? Oh man, I can't put that on video.
5 projects this year.
What's this for?
In fact,
My YouTube's.
Oh, great.
Yeah, see? What an idiot.
No. See, I would have said half the things I said earlier. I wouldn't know that.
Sure, that's what
I thought
they
this
all
was
say.
personal collection.
Funny, that's what I say. I wouldn't say half this stuff if I knew I was going to put it on
Exactly.
YouTube.
Great.
You're lying, Tyler.